Alright everyone, welcome back to the 100% free-to-play Zero to Hero run. We are coming in here at rank D0, just starting off from the last run. Today we're actually going to be using the default deck for Havencraft. This deck for me has been a little bit hard to judge as far as the strength as a default deck. It's got a decent amount of Storm in it, and Storm is going to be something that, you know, when you have one of those big Storm finishers, like I've mentioned in previous videos I've done so far covering these different default decks, talking about the kind of strengths and weaknesses, which ones are actually playable. Having those big Storm finishers at the end of the game can, you know, at least you can actually have the potential to get a win against, you know, some of these decent decks people are now putting a lot of these legendary cards in. All right, so we're going first, so I guess play this on turn 2, turn 3, and that'll be our turn 4, I guess. So yeah, this deck, like for example, this, oh, okay, ooh, that's pretty nice. All right, everybody, I feel like this is going to be a pretty nice little test of the strength of this deck. I'm pretty happy with this little starter here, so let's see how this goes. So a lot of the stuff has Storm in this deck, so if you look at this winged statue, last words, in 4 turns we're going to get a Holy Falcon. That's going to be a 2/2 Storm. Honestly, pretty nice. I feel like this card is feels pretty solid, right? I feel like pretty much the strategy with this deck, once again, is going to be to try to get a little lucky and get some damage in early, and then basically try to finish them off with a face rush with all this Storm stuff. And, you know, this card is actually really sick, too, because you're going to get that 2/2 coming out, and you're going to be able to evolve it when it comes out. So, you know, it's going to be like 4 to the face. So here we actually have a little bit of a decision to make between these two. I guess I'll try the Fox of Purity first and save this Indomitable Fighter to play it as a 5/5. We do have this Winged Warrior, so I guess, you know, a case could have been made that that would have been the turn 4 play. I'm not sure. And, you know, here is showing a reason why potentially that was a little bit of a mistake. This Iron Fist Priest, this guy seems absolutely amazing to me. I would say this is probably one of the best cards in the deck, if not the best card in the deck. Not totally unsurprisingly, since a lot of these decks do have this kind of stuff where they'll put in like a really strong evolve or super evolve card. Not super happy with the fact that they're going to get a free kill on this guy, but I guess we'll just go ahead and play this 3/3 out, hit them for 1, and we'll call that a turn. So yeah, going into starting playing this deck, I do plan on playing this deck for quite a few games here. Probably take it all the way through, like, say, the first half of D0, I think. I feel like it's probably got potential. In fact, I picked this as the next default deck I want to play because I've actually got 2 missions right now where I need to get some wins. I have a ranked wins match mission, and I also have just get, I think, 5 wins mission, something like that. And, you know, keep in mind, there is synergy here. So, like, for example, if you engage this, you can get that 2/2 out. Then you can play this Winged Warrior, give it a +1/+1. A little bit of a combo there. This Iron Fist Priest is sure is going to be nice against this Dragon player once I'm ready to actually get it out, but we'll just go ahead and lead off with this 5/5. I feel like playing this on turn 4 is pretty much almost never a bad idea, and I'm really wondering, is this card going to have any possibility of being played in a few of the actual decks that people are going to play? I do wonder about that. Alright, let's see what this girl does. If you're an Overflow Evolve, when this evolves, gain 1 max play point. Wow, that is just really, really strong, right? Here, we're probably most likely going to end up using this Iron Fist Priest. We do have an evolution now, so I could basically evolve it, completely wipe the board, and get in for 2. We can also start setting up this avian statue. I think it seems good enough for now, so let's just go ahead and run this plan, do this. We're going to kill the smaller one that's not going to damage my guy as badly. Alright, so we're going to get that kill. I have a feeling if you're going to win with this deck, it is probably going to involve this Iron Fist Priest, right? Because, man, this is just so strong. And yeah, still that super evolve. Wow, banish all enemy followers with 3 or less defense. Really strong. It's kind of like Dragoncraft has a very similar card, which honestly the Dragoncraft one's probably better, but all right, what do we got here? Here we have a Fanfare summon a Vastwing Dragon, and it has Ward. Wow, that guy's quite good as well, isn't he? Whenever I played the Dragoncraft default deck, they have that 7 mana 5/5 and also summon a 5/5 of this with Intimidate, which was really good. And okay, yeah, this match is actually going pretty well, right? Okay, ends up going for the evolution because otherwise, yeah, might be in a little bit of trouble with that. I'd be swinging in for quite a bit of damage there. So I can't attack his 5/5 Intimidator, so what do I want to do instead? I could put out somebody to just defend against this 5/5. I could put out like this Warder here. I could also start setting up this Avian Statue to basically try to win by going face. This is going to end up being, how much damage is this going to be? It's a 4/4, and when it comes out in 2 turns, I can Super Evolve it, so it's going to be 7 damage to the face. This turn, I can deal 4 damage to the face. That's going to put him down to 6. This +1 also will do a little bit of extra damage as well. Is Soul Cure Sister an absolutely horrible decision to make here? All right, everyone, I'm going to go for an actual win here. I'm going to buff this guy up. This is also going to make him a 5/5, so if he wants to try to trade here, well, I guess he'll be able to trade, okay, because he's got the super evolution. By the way, Intimidate. Is it just me, or does Intimidate feel just absolutely ridiculously strong in this game? If he starts going after my guys, and I have like one guy left remaining, I can actually super evolve, get one more final big swing in, and play this avian statue, and hope that he basically just doesn't have any ward, and actually try to get a win that way. I can also play this Caravan Mammoth, depending on how the situation unfolds. Yeah, this Soul Cure Sister, she just, I feel like, just does not fit in this deck, and pretty much just straight up bad. I guess for a control deck, maybe it could be decent, but I have a feeling this is going to be a just bad card that's already power crept out of the format. You just can't use this card at all, I have a feeling. All right, here we go, everybody. So here is going to be one card that's going to allow us to have some storm abilities, another one that's going to let us have some storm, and so I think that's pretty much what we're going to end up doing here. So let's go ahead and play this out, play the avian statue out, and I guess we'll just let this one come out next turn. So we'll go ahead and engage this one to make sure we use a power. Oh, wait a second, that actually comes out. Oh, that was a for 2. Okay, I had no idea. There we go. Okay, that's really interesting, actually. So for 6, okay, everybody. That is a card. So now, literally, if we draw a second one of those, we can win. Okay, this default deck, I'm going to go ahead and call it right now. This card actually is going to allow this default deck to probably get some wins. You can use this, hit for 7 on turn 6, or what was that turn? Yeah, so turn 6 or turn 7, whenever you get the super evolve, you can go ahead and immediately evolve this. I missed that was a double tick on that. Swing immediately for 7. And then, like, next turn, we already have, in 1 to 2 turns, we're going to have multiple options of things that could win us this game if they don't have any ward. Of course, my opponent ended up, they did have some ward. So that's unfortunate. But my opponent is really in trouble here, actually, because he's going to have to super evolve this. Got another warder out. Okay, so suddenly we're in a little bit of trouble. Okay, right. He's going to super evolve the other one to an 8/8, get the free kill there. Unfortunately, I think we're kind of going to have no choice but have to play this Caravan Mammoth, which is actually kind of unfortunate here because there's just not really any other good options. So, oh, but right, we can't actually attack it. Man, these are just so strong. This is why the Dragoncraft deck is probably going to end up being the strongest because of the fact that it also gets these 5/5 Intimidators. Really hard to interact with these default decks. Opponent is at 7. How can we potentially actually win this match? They're going to have 13 Intimidate that they're going to get us with next turn, making it very, very challenging for us to find a way to actually win this game. As it stands now, we have to block one of these, so I think we're going to have to play one of these out no matter what. Now, my opponent does win if they can kill my ward, but, we've put ourselves in a position where, I feel like, oh, that's not good. Here we go. Give all enemy followers -0. Oh, no, we can't beat that. We're dead, but, oh, man, I hope you all could at least see that this deck really has potential. So let's go ahead and try to get an actual win with this deck, all right? I really feel strongly that we're going to be able to get at least a few wins with this deck through the D0 ranking. We already got one, but I wasn't able to show it because it wasn't a great showcase. All right, everybody, real quick intermission, though, before we get to the last match of the video. We got our daily free pack opening. Maybe I should go ahead and check out the ones that are new and chat about them a little bit in these videos. I don't know what you think. Oh, open 2 at once. All right, I got 2 silvers. All right, let's check out real quick what we got. Elise Electrifying Eventer. Last words, add a gear. Okay. Nothing too crazy there. Fanfare, draw a card, restore X defense to your leader. X is the number of cards in your hand. Draw a card, restore X. Okay. Interesting. Probably terrible is my guess. 5. Fanfare, draw 2 cards, restore 2 to your leader. Not jumping out to me. Ooh, this is really cool. On spell boost, increase X by 1. It starts at 2, deal X damage to it. This card seems definitely pretty playable, I feel like. Stream of Life, select an enemy follower, deal 3 damage, add a Gear of Remembrance to your hand. All right. And Fairy Convocation, add 2 copies of Fairy. Yeah, maybe in some kind of combo. I guess I've already got this one. Super Evolve, select another allied follower on the field and give it, wow, Storm. I feel like there's going to be a kind of hyper aggro Dragoncraft deck also, which I lost to in the last video, actually. Maybe that could go in there, give somebody Storm. This is really interesting. I'm probably going to actually try to craft kind of a hyper aggro free-to-play Dragoncraft deck that you could just use for, like, you know, completing quests and stuff like that. Let me know if anybody's interested in that. All right, everyone, moving along through D0, having a pretty tough time with this Havencraft default deck, but can I get a win? I'm going to go ahead and call it right now. My rating for this deck, it's not going to be an A or an S. It's just not really good enough for that. It doesn't have enough cards that feel truly strong, particularly strong. The win condition, even though it's got that win condition in there, which is those big storm hits, being able to set up storms to come out, buff them up, hit the face, it's still just not really strong enough to be able to reliably get wins. And a lot of these cards, they have to kind of work together in order for it to even actually happen. We're going second, so we'll probably end up doing some turn 4 action. I guess I'll just keep both of these Winged Warriors and I'll get rid of the 3 and hope for a 2-drop. There's the 2-drop. So we'll play that on turn 2, buff up to turn 4 for the Winged Warrior. Even Winged Warrior, I mean, it's not really that great, honestly, right? Like, all it is, realistically, it's just basically just 5/5 worth of power and toughness, which is the same as the card that already comes in the default decks. All right, what do we have here? Wow, this is crazy. 3/3 for 2, and you take 3 damage on your leader, and evolve, restore 5 defense to your leader. That's actually a really cool card. Is Abyss going to be the archetype that actually has the best, like, all-out, just totally go crazy and try to kill your opponent strategy? Like, kind of all-in aggro. All right, what does this guy do? Gain a crest, Balto, Dusk Bounty Hunter. At the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to, wow, both. Okay, so yep, I guess this is the deck. This is the deck that tries to just completely annihilate your opponent as quickly as possible. I was wondering which one of these classes was going to end up having that most all-out aggro, which I may actually want to try to build myself just to kind of quickly get through ranked matches. So this isn't great. We have to play this guy out with nothing else, but it's fine. We just lose 1/1, and we've got 2 of these Iron Fist Priests. Now, this is going to be the card. This Iron Fist Priest, this is the card that I feel like absolutely, truly, this is one of the ways that you can win with this deck is with this Iron Fist Priest. All right, they end up doing that sacrifice there, and we're actually looking pretty good here, given that my opponent is playing what looks like this kind of all-out aggro deck. We are actually going to be able to completely stop them with this Iron Fist Priest here. A little bit of a tongue twister there. And now, if my opponent has a few more of those kind of early drop all-out aggro cards in their hand, we are going to be able to possibly control them out. It'll depend on if they've got like kind of 1 or 2 maybe big kind of finisher cards that are going to overpower this little default deck here. Let's find out. I think if we get a win here, I think I'm pretty much going to be ready to go ahead and retire this deck. And you know what? I'm just going to call it now. This is going to be the last match I'm going to play, because if we can't win against this deck with a pretty decent little control hand here, then, you know, it's just not really going to happen, unfortunately. All right, what is Chaos Cyclone? Is a Resurrector. All right, get the 3/3 back. All right, so this Iron Fist Priest is obviously going to have to stick around for the Super Evolution, which is going to be very strong. I think let's go ahead and get another one of these defenders out here. Go ahead and evolve it up.
Brace yourself.
And attack in, and hope that we can get a control-style victory. Not the victory that I think you're typically going to be getting with this deck, because, again, I still think that the Storm is kind of the main way that you're going to actually close out matches. But, you know, to be honest, even in this match here, the Storm may end up being really good, too. Next turn, we can go ahead and do the sick combo of just playing it, engaging it for 2. That's 6. It brings out a 4/4, and we get the Super Evolution. That's 7 damage straight to the face. In fact, if they weren't able to actually get the kill here, which of course, okay, they are able to get the kill here. They used a regular evolution. They've got a Super Evolve coming up. Okay, yeah, this is actually the game. Can we actually get the Storm win in this game? Should I actually go for it? It's going to be 7 to the face, putting him down to 9. What does this do? Fanfare, add 2 shadows, engage, destroy this card, summon 2 copies of Ghost. What does Ghost do again? This is probably my best hope of winning a match here. When this card leaves the field, banish it at the end of your turn. Banish this card. Okay, so it's just kind of a whatever thing. You know what? Let's just actually... This Soul Cure Sister, even though I keep talking crap on this card over and over as not being very good, maybe it'll actually be kind of halfway decent here. All right, yep, still I think going to kind of largely depend on our opponent's draw. Okay, the Mistress of the Fanged. All right, that's all right. I'm kind of okay with that, and that's a 3 health. All right, we've both got the Super Evolution. Unfortunately, this was kind of good against what I just played. I guess I really should have let off with something else. What about a Caravan Mammoth, the most ridiculous card? There is also this Leia Bellringer. I mean, it's seems kind of absolutely awful, but you do get to draw a card, or do you only get to draw a card on the regular evolution? I actually don't really know how that works. All right, y'all, this is totally dumb, but I'm doing it. Here we go. All right. My opponent, they've only got 2 cards in their hand. Oh gosh, is there any way this can actually be good? Oh man, no clue if that was the right play or not. We got to kind of cross our fingers here. Yep, this is going to be the last match, everybody. What do you think? Was that the right play on this 13-13? Of course, they've got another Mistress of the Fang as soon as that one's done. And then what do they got? Okay, they got absolutely nothing. So we're actually still looking kind of decent here. I'm going to put this out, pop the play point to bring out the ward. This is actually pretty nice board, honestly. The fact that this actually protects my 10-10, I still got the option for the avian statue. I'm telling y'all, I called it. This is how you're going to be able to close these matches out, is sneaking in like one of these avian statues with a super evolve. Oh my gosh, everybody, we did it. All right. Oh my gosh. Can you win with this deck in ranked? You can win. Every win that I've been basically having or nearly having is usually coming from control type victories. Get my mission done here. It's been coming from these control style victories, which still kind of surprises me because I feel like that's not how this deck is supposed to win. But, you know, if you do happen to go up against like a blitz, totally all-in blitz aggro like I just went up against, you know, this Iron Fist Priest having access to this could potentially linger the game out long enough to then kind of run them out of fuel. And then you do have the Soul Cure Sister, which, I mean, I guess I have to say this, against the totally all-out blitz-style aggro, which we just played, I guess the Soul Cure Sister can be at least halfway decent. It does also buy you time to get to that Sacred Griffin. And if you're going to try this deck out, remember also with the Sacred Griffin, try to combo it. See if it combos with this Adventurers Guild. I never got to quite test it out. I did have a game where I did get to test it, but they had a blocker, so I wasn't able to test for sure if it gets stormed. But as far as I can read the cards, it should be able to get stormed. So you can actually get this on turn 8, buff it up to +3/+3, it looks like, and get a smack in the face for 9, win out of nowhere with the avian statue. You can play this on like turn 5, and then next turn engage it to 2. You'll have 5 attack, and then buff it up with a winged warrior. So that's 6 attack plus another 3, and once again, you've got a 9 to the face out of nowhere. So I will say, I'm not going to give this deck an F. I'm going to give it a final rating of B because it does have the ability to sneak out these victories. It has the Iron Fist Priest, which is, at least it's a good card. It's at least a solid card. But then none of the rest of the stuff is really doing anything, and a lot of the stuff doesn't really work that well together. Some of these things rely on, like the Sacred Griffin, if you don't happen to have the amulet to be able to engage, then this card is just absolutely terrible. All right, that's my thoughts. Those are my matches with the Havencraft default deck. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go ahead and chuck this one in the garbage myself. I don't see myself playing with it again. If you enjoy this style of video covering all these default decks, working our way up slowly and gradually, you get to kind of watch my progress all along the way. The next video I make, I think we'll go ahead and close out rank D0 and we'll try out one of the final default decks we haven't tried yet. So yeah, consider subscribing if you like this style of content. Kind of leisurely trying everything out, getting kind of the full experience of the game, and you get to just kind of follow along through the whole journey together with me. And of course, hit a like on the video if you enjoyed it as well. Consider commenting and yada, yada, yada. All right, y'all, see you next time as we finish off this rank D0.